setup for this new Madden franchise I'm starting, and I personally have always been a fan of Jameis Winston on the field. So what we're actually going to do is I'm going to start a new league with Jameis Winston as my quarterback. You know, I love these reclamation projects. We're going to see if I can go through a whole season with Jameis winning a Super Bowl and keeping him under 10 interceptions. Is kind of one of the goals I'm going through there. I was also going to kind of take you guys through how I kind of set up my leagues and maybe some franchise tips for team building and good stuff like that. So right now I am go ahead and do the main league setup right here, and a lot of this stuff I usually don't mess with. Depending on who I'm playing with in the league, I might add restrictions on movements and stuff like that, but I'm not going to really mess with that right now. Don't need tutorial pop-ups. League name. Same as this video, we're going to name this the Jameis virus, because as I make and record this, we are currently under quarantine, which means I have way too much time on my hands for stuff like this. So, the Jameis virus. Jameis coaster is more accurate. There we go. Looks great. Don't steal my password there. Alright, and as you see, my coach is Dante Saban. Dante is my first name. I chose Saban because, like Coach Saban, I don't really get any enjoyment out of playing these things. I don't even know why I do, and I'm just miserable all the time, so I figured it was a pretty apt name. Alright, for coach role, I usually choose the coach the player development, get extra experience, kind of develop the players a little bit more. So we're going to go ahead and jump in. We're going to jump in at week 17 of the most recent season. So here we are. One thing I wanted to go over was the experience sliders. So this is a culmination. I mean, I played, Madden franchises all the way back to 2002, 2003. So here's what we're going to set them at. We're going to bump the quarterbacks down to 73. Halfbacks are going to go to 130. Tight ends at 160. And then receivers at 70. Alright, fullbacks, we're going to go keep them at 100. Tackles, going to bump them up to 220. Let's see here. Guards are going to go also to 220. And then centers, we're going to go to 190. Defensive ends are, oops, sorry, wrong way. We're going to bump the D ends down to 70. D tackles we're going to bump down to 90. Middle linebackers, 90. Outside linebackers, 70. Cornerbacks, 85. And then free safeties, 80. Strong safeties, 75. And then kickers, we're going to go to 175. And then punters, we're going to go to 180. Alright, so some of the reasoning for this right here, these XP sliders, we've done careers in the past, me and the group that I play with, where we've jacked the XP sliders all the way up to 300. The problem with going all the way up to 300, which it can be fun, your players develop insanely fast. So, for example, you will have guys that you'll draft in the 7th round, they'll sit on your bench for 4 years with a normal development trait, and at 4 years they'll be 90 overall. And the depth on your team is just sickening. And if you want to play that way, that's totally fine. The group that I play with, we try to keep things a little bit more, don't want to use the word realistic, but try and make it a little bit more balanced. So as you can see, quarterbacks, definitely with statistics, have some of the biggest advantage for getting stats and getting experience. So theirs are bumped down, where positions like tackle and guard are bumped up tremendously because, they don't get a whole lot of stats. So we try to give them some help. Defensively, because they all get stats, you all get tackles, sacks, all that stuff. Those are kind of bumped down a little bit. And then obviously kickers and punters jumped up a little bit. So we don't want to jack those up too much because we don't want them too out of control. Alright, let's head off to the off season. And I'm actually going to go ahead and we're going to advance to the Super Bowl. So if you guys didn't know, the Super Bowl, for whatever reason, is the only week during the whole playoff spree that gets you scouting. And that's why we're advancing to there. So let's go ahead and scout. And I'm going to go ahead and choose to download a draft class. I haven't looked at these in a while, but I'm assuming with everyone having a lot more free time lately, there should be a pretty good one out here for the 2020 draft. So when I look for these, I usually go by the most recently added, and sure enough, there's a nice little St. Patrick's Day one. Let's see, this one's got 29 down. So I kind of, when I look at these, I kind of look at the amount of downloads. Draft Bangle, you can't really go wrong with. I feel like they're usually pretty solid. So Draft Bangle 2020, let's go ahead and do that one. We'll go ahead and take a look at it first. Can't be downloaded, huh? Oh, it's been removed. Okay, that would explain that. This one's 322. This one's got 21,000 downloads. You know, I think we'll go ahead and go with that one. Taking its sweet time here. Alright, Burrow, Chase Young, Okuda, all that looks good. So, we're not going to be taking Burrow, nor are we going to have the higher draft picks. We're going to go ahead and skip him. Go ahead and scout Okuda. So right now I'm just doing the quick scout. That's the square. Isaiah Simmons, which should be nice. Alright, that's all we got for this week. So right now I just do quick scout. I don't really get too in-depth into the actual scouting and big boards, all that stuff to the off-season. $29 players. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look here who we're going to re-sign. Okay, so when I go to this, so it seems less daunting, I kind of go here by position. So the Jameis coaster, 3 years, $50 million. No, we're going to go ahead and do it. We're going to go all in with Jameis. And he's not going to want to go all in with us. Looks like we'll have to franchise tag him. Alright. Peyton Barber. So here's one of the things about this game. The speed absolutely kills. So Peyton Barber at 88 speed. No thank you. We're not going to mess with that. Let me go ahead and check one setting I might have missed. Usually there's a setting on here that's like autofill roster, which sometimes can get you into some really weird roster settings. Manual, fill roster off. Yep, see. I knew it. I forgot something. Okay. So, we got good old back shoulder Blaine Gabbert. We're not going to take him. Barber can go. Receivers. You know what? They haven't re-signed in real life, but Rashad Perriman with 95 speed, I would definitely like to have him back. So let's bump his salary up here and see if we can get Perriman back. Beautiful. Alright, and 91 speed for a 60 overall. That seems like a pretty good bargain. Tight ends. So usually on my rosters, I like to carry one tight end that can kind of do it all. He's a receiver, and he's a decent blocker. And then maybe one guy just a blocking specialist. I have O.J. Howard and Cameron Braid, so none of these guys I'm actually really going to need, so I'm actually just going to let all these guys walk. Alright, O-line wise, Gerald Hawkins, 60 overall, so when we get to free agency, I'll get into more of my belief on the O-line than Madden here in a minute. But Josh Wells, we're not going to re-sign. This guy right here, if he had a good development trait, would definitely be worth it. Well, we're going to let him go. Nope. And DeMar Dotson, you know what? Nope. $5 million cap hit's too much. I'll explain that in a little bit. Sue. What's Sue's cap hit gonna look like? No, we'll let him go. Then Bo Allen, we can find a run stuffer for a lot cheaper than that. So we're gonna just like the Bucks, I like to run a base 3-4 defense also. I just like some of the out front looks a lot better. These guys are really more your traditional down 4-3 ends, so I'm actually going to let both those guys go. They're not really good fits in the defense. So here's another thing about speed. Kevin Minter, 78 speed. Can't play, too slow. Noah Dawkins, 89 speed, can make up a lot. You'll find out quickly. There's a one of the prerequisites, you got to be able to run. Shaq Barrett, absolutely we would like back. What's his ability? Edge threat, yeah. See if we can lock up our best pass rusher. He wants to test free agency. We already used the franchise tag, so we're going to lose Shaq Barrett. That's okay. 84 speed at corner. Oh boy. No. Darian Stewart, 82 speed at safety. Like I said, most of the time, I will not even roster a defensive back if they're not at least 92 speed. That goes for safety or corner. They're going to need to have some type of trait, like the big hitter trait or something like that, to make me take them to make up for that. Okay, so that's it for re-signing. We'll go ahead and advance to free agency. So the next thing I usually do from here, I'll go through my roster and then see if there's any guys we can either cut or trade to save some cap space right here. So like Ryan Griffin, 53 overall, making $1.64 million. That's a complete waste. That saves us, $1 million in cap room. Let's see, Ronald Jones I like, TJ Logan I like. Let's see, Arians doesn't carry a fullback, that's why there's no fullbacks. So this is what's going to be interesting for me in this career is, like I said, with my speed threshold, you'll notice that Mike Evans is only 90. That's a lot slower than I usually like to play. And Godwin is a stud, even at 91. That's a little different than I like to play. So I'm going to go ahead and go with it, try some new stuff. I do really like the receiving core. O.J. Howard, one of my goals is to make sure that O.J. Howard touches the ball this year. So here's the thing, Cameron Brate. Let's take a look at his run blocking and see if he's worth even rostering. I don't believe it's good. Yeah, 59. So if you're looking for a tight end that's a solid run blocker, you're going to want to look for mid to upper 60s where he's actually going to help you. 59 is not a lot. He's not very fast, and he'd save us $6 million in cap space with no penalty. So since he's a 78, we're actually going to trade him. And looks like the Bengals are looking for a tight end, and a 78 should net us a third-round pick. I'm kind of going pretty fast right here. In most leagues we have like a trade calculator, which you guys can Google that anywhere. It's out there for you to use. 4th-round pick back, that's not bad. There's a Madden trade calculator out there that we go to in some more competitive leagues, but for this one, we're just going to roll with it. So this one hurts. Donovan Smith, 70 overall, would be a $14 million cap penalty. He's got a really bad contract. But in this case, honestly, it's not worth getting rid of him because the $14 million cap penalty, you might as well just keep him on the roster. And he's a 70, he's not bad. So Ryan Jensen might be a guy that we might get rid of. $10 million in cap savings. We're doing pretty good. So here's my thing about the O-line. As some of you guys that follow the channel know, I'm doing a career with the Memphis Egyptians where I can't have a guy rated over 70 overall. A year ago, my highest rated lineman was a 62. And I can tell you this from playing a lot of Madden, that it appears O-line ratings, really, there's not a whole lot of difference. Like, for example, if you have an O-line of all 80s, and you're going against, a D-line that's got, an X factor or a superstar, those guys are going to make their plays regardless. I would say in all the games I've played with out of the Egyptians and some other careers where I'm just, loaded up front on the O-line, I haven't noticed a lot of deviations and a lot of differences in certain situations. Like if it's a 3rd and 1 and there's a funky look and it's kind of that situation where you think the CPU would make a play, they make a play. I'll keep Ryan Jensen for now, but he might be a candidate to be on his way if we need cap space. So that's why for me, honestly, I might play a whole season. I kind of went through this belief I'll never pay an offensive lineman again in Madden. And this is coming from an O-line coach too, so it's hard for me to say, but I mean, it's the truth. That just, you can get by a whole season with 60 overalls on your O-line. It really doesn't matter. I mean, I wouldn't try and do a lot of stuff like taking deep drops and running around in circles and, total video game football, but I mean, with play calling and honestly, you can get there. Go ahead and trade Golston. Get some more salary cap space. Looks like the Bills are in need of an D-end. Let's see if we can get a 4th-round pick for him too. Beautiful. Quentin Bell needs to be playing linebacker at 88 speed. But yeah, so when building the team with the O-line, honestly, like I said, unless the O-lineman is like an X-Factor, a superstar, and his trait is like specifically geared towards something I like to run on offense, I'm not even going to pay him. Like, as soon as their contract's up, like, they're out of here. So Anthony Nelson, 6'7", 271. He needs to be playing D-end. And I've actually had him a couple other careers, actually pretty solid D-end for the bargain that you're getting. So we'll move him to strong side end. Let's take a look at his overall. Not much better, but better than playing linebacker. I got Big V, Quentin Bell, Lavonte David, Devin White. Devin White I'm very excited about. So this is the same thing too here. Like Kendall Beckwith, as soon as he's off in reserve, gone. 79 speed. It really limits you, especially against some of the better teams, what you can do. Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean. Yeah, so like these guys right here, Howard Wilson, 87 speed. Yeah, cut. They can't play unless they've got some amazing trait. Because one of the things, like offensively, you can kind of dictate your matchups and who you're going to go after. Defensively, it's really hard to hide guys that really can't help you. Carlton Davis might be a trade candidate also. Yeah, we'll see how we can get. See how we can do. Mike Ever, yeah, so we need help on the back end big time. Draft picks. We got a couple extra fourth rounders, so we're getting there. Now let's take a look at free agency. See what we got here. Alright, let's go position by position. So, quarterbacks are really tough in free agency. They're always really expensive. So I usually like to hold off. I usually like to get one through the draft once in a while. Taysom Hill could be fun. I've got him in another career, so I think we're probably going to draft a quarterback. Probably draft a quarterback. Alright, running backs. So same thing. In the game, speed kills. So if we can find a guy that can really complement with speed, Damian Williams not be bad. But we got Ronald Jones and TJ Logan, so honestly, we're probably going to be good at running back. Normally I do like to carry a fullback. But I think with this scheme, we'll stick with what Arians has kind of got going on here. Dorsett could add some more speed. Like I said, when I'm signing receivers, it's all speed. If I'm going to sign somebody, they need to be at least 95 speed or less. So, like, when we're talking about Philip Dorsett's a good one. Let's see. Robert Foster's a solid one. I've had him in some other leagues. Demir Bird can fly, if I remember correctly. I think they signed him in real life, too. Yep, 95 speed. Yeah, we'll go ahead and throw a contract down on him. Actually, I'm positive the Bucs signed him. Okay, so tight ends. This is where I might add not Austin Hooper, but like a guy that's a little bit more of a blocking specialist. And Mercedes Lewis is a very good blocker at tight end. Look at his run block, 73. So we're not going to be throwing him a lot of back shoulder fades, but in some of our running sets when we need to run the ball, he's going to help out a lot with O.J. Howard. Okay, O-line. What is Andrew Whitworth's superstar ability? Is that better pass protection? It's not bad. So like I said, O-line wise, so here's what I'm really looking for agency, and you won't see as much of this year as you will after you do a custom draft class, but usually when I'm looking for free agents, I'm looking for like development traits. I'm looking for guys that are very lowly rated that have good development traits. And I'm probably not going to find a lot of these. A lot of those are kind of in the custom draft classes. Like I said, I'm not going to spend a lot on the O-line. Honestly, I'm probably going to draft most of my linemen. The only thing that I will once in a while, I'll sign a veteran like someone like Whitworth or even maybe Iupati, because they'll mentor the young guys, and they'll kind of increase the it'll increase the development of some of your young linemen. So once in a while, if I've got the space, I'll sign a veteran. But for right now, like I said, I'll just look, and if there's a quick development on one of these guys, because ideally the holy grail is you get a lineman that's like a 60 that's got quick development, sign him to like a 5 or 6 year contract, and then you're pretty much set. By the end of his contract, he'll be, mid to high 80s, and you'll be paying him peanuts. So nothing there. Oh, Eric Armstead. So defense. So I do like to get impact players on the D-line. They do make a huge difference, and there's one I saw. This gentleman here. Gosh, this guy wrecks me. So this guy would be worth the money. X factors on the D-line can be huge game changers. So we're going to put a contract offer down on him. Let's see here. We're probably going to go back after Shaq Barrett too. Let's see. No one's offering Sue. So you know what? We're actually going to lowball Sue and see if he comes back on a lower contract. See if he comes back. Probably not. Probably rather sit at home than play for that. But you know what? That's okay. So if we can get Chris Jones, we will be in very good shape. Up front, let's look at the linebacking core. So Kyle Van Noy. Like I said, this is so like Nick Vigil. I know there's a lot of bids on him, but he's the type of guy I'd look for. Like low 70s, star development. Tavis Brown, see, computer's catching on to it too. He's got 5 offers. Bruce Irvin's a little long in the tooth for the development trait. But since I'm running a 3-4, I'm kind of looking for pass rush type guys with some speed off the edge. And you know what? Bruce Irvin might not be the worst signing here. Because he's a veteran, he's athletic, and he might actually, being a veteran, he might mentor some of the young guys. And he's really cheap, so we'll throw a contract down on him. And we're also going to sign Camille Grugier-Hill because his speed, if I remember correctly, 89, is huge. So he'll play middle in our defense. Let's see. I'm going to go right outside linebacker. Let's see. There's Shaq Barrett. Of course, the Patriots swooping in there. So let's go ahead, put another offer down on him. Looks like we got bid the Patriots for the moment. And then at corner. So Vernon Hargraves, they actually had him in real life for a while. Like I said, I'm looking for at least 91, 92 speed in my corners. I usually don't like to sign corners in free agency. I usually like to build that one through the draft just because of how expensive that position can be. It's weird. Their corners are really expensive to sign in this game, but to re-sign once they're on your roster, they're actually pretty reasonable. Mackenzie Alexander, I think we're pretty good. You know, we'll say corner for the draft, and then we'll go safety free agency. Let's see. Adrian Colbert's a great one. We're not gonna. But I have some of these guys. You're gonna hear me say like, "Oh my gosh, he's really good. I'm gonna sign him," and then I'm not sign him at all. It's because I've done a few of these careers, and I've had some of these guys a few times on my team, so I'm trying to branch out a little bit, do something different. Let's see, strong safeties. Let's see. Loka at least was a pretty good athlete back in the day. What's Haha going for on the open market here? Yeah, see, 87 speed, see? And I really like him as a player, but 87, it's just too slow. Just the end of the day, it's too slow. Jalen Watkins, 90. That's better than what we got. We'll throw an offer down on him. Alright, that should do it. Let's see what we got here. Shaq Barrett's back. Oh, and we got Chris Jones too. Yeah, that front seven's looking good. Well, it looks like everybody we offered in that first wave of free agency accepted, so we had some cap space and we used it. And Grugier Hill might end up replacing Levante David too. Levante David's kind of getting up there. So really for free agency, that's it for right now. In later seasons, so we go through and do my scouting here. So we really need corner. So I'm going to go through and scout some of the corners. 7 point. So when you're looking at corners, so first you're looking at the combine grade. Anything over 6 is really good, over 7 is outstanding, and like high 6s. So those are the guys I'm going to scout. Let's see. Don't have a ton of scouting points right now, obviously, because I didn't scout the whole season. Ooh, 5th-year options. Who we got? I think it's Vita Vea. Went up O.J. Howard. So I'm actually going to use O.J. Howard as a receiver, so we're going to pick up his option. Okay, let's see here. Oh, Sue declined our offer. Well, go figure. Okay, so let's go back to the DBs. So let's see here. So another thing I look at once we have the combine scores is 40 time. So anything in the 4.4, 4.3s. What you're looking for. That looks good. See Bryce Hall, 4.52. Not going to get it done. 4.42 is decent. Nope. And you can't just 100% see Troy Pride. That's a good one. You can't just 100% go off the combine score because a lot of things can influence that, like their vertical jump or like sometimes their bench press, and you know, not the most useful thing in the world when you're playing corner. Then 6.6. I'll have to scout him next. So this one, because I don't have a full season's worth of scouting doing this, a lot of them just going to be going off their combine numbers, which, hey, that's how some teams do it in real life anyway, so, you know, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Alright, I'll do some safeties really quick. We've got some good athletes there. And that back end. 4.7. I like him. My goodness, big and with some range. Jeremy Chin, yeah, he's looking good. Terrell Burgess, fastest 40 at strong safety. That's the guy we're going to target. Lots of Utah DBs. Shout out to Utah. Alright, and that pretty much does it. So this scouting is going to be really condensed because I don't have a full season's worth of scouting. Most seasons, I'll do a whole draft board. So hit triangle, that adds the guy to your draft board. So I can put Okuda right here and go to draft board, and then he'll be right there and I can reorganize it. So most of my leagues, when I've got a full season's worth of scouting, I'll actually go through a whole draft board, and we'll draft straight off the draft board. But we're not going to do that because I don't have a full season's worth of scouting. So alright, and that brings us to the draft. And, you know, it's actually getting late for this, so I think we're going to save the draft and the preseason for tomorrow. Alright, thank you, everybody.